What is up, sports fans? We're back. I'm Adam, joined by Charlie, and it's been a very busy few weeks, Charlie. I got to cast my first Counter-Strike LAN event, so I was flying into Chicago, and we were not doing that show on Friday by the time I got to the hotel, and I was not risking it off of hotel Wi-Fi. And then last week, I had a headset issue. It just was a couple technical issues, and then, of course, we had, I believe it was Thanksgiving, so
Yep.
I just completely forgot about the show, so that's my fault. We're back. It's week 15. Man, my season-long teams did not do so well.
Oh, mine did. I'm excited.
I had a lot of hits. I had too much Jefferson because I either had the first pick or I was at the end of the draft. So I was getting a lot of other guys. Like Jefferson's injury derailed all those teams that I had him on, which is fine. It's to be expected. You lose the number 1 overall pick. Kind of tough to rebound from that. I lost Tank Dell in several leagues. It's just, I have Hurts everywhere. Josh Allen in one lineup. It was some of the injuries this year, man. It's been a very weird year for injuries for quarterbacks. It's been weird for wide receivers and running backs. Nick Chubb was someone I was super high on. I didn't get in many leagues. He went down early.
I know that hurt me.
I was all in on Miles Sanders and all out on Tony Pollard. I'll take my L on Sanders. I'm taking my W on Pollard.
My main targets going into the draft. So I've got 14 teams, right? 14 fantasy.
I have
teams.
10. You got 14.
I'm in the playoffs in 11, and I'm in first place in the 1 points only league that I play.
Nice.
So no playoffs, no versus. I just took over first place
this
past week. I've been in the top 3 the whole season though, and then so I've got 2 leagues that I did not make the playoffs. 6 of the 11 I am on bye this week.
Nice.
And then in the Bacon League, I seriously, I feel like I should be on bye. There's 2 games that I lost by a total of 1.6 points.
That's fantasy for you.
I know, too hard luck. But I'm in that league, I traded for Hill, for McCaffrey, and with you for Mixon.
Yep.
And I'm rolling now, but I just lost Herbert. And I lost Herbert in a lot of leagues, and I have Hill in a lot.
Yep.
And he may not play. So it's like, oh my gosh, I've had a good season. I only have 1 losing record across all of them. So my plan in my main 6 was I used my main plan.
Mm-hmm.
That's worked out very well. So the Bacon League's the only one I'm not on bye this week.
Yep.
But
like
yeah,
I said,
but now it's injuries, man. I just lost my quarterback. Now I may lose my receiver. But my guys this year were Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tyreek Hill, and Mixon. That's who I was getting in the first round. And in one of my money leagues, I managed to get Hill and Amon-Ra.
That's huge.
Yeah, I think I was drafting 8th or something. Know how that happened. That one, yeah. I decided they've carried me. But if I lose Hill, man, I don't know. I'll have to start Garrett or Ridley. I don't like Ridley's matchup. But
yeah, well, we'll get into it. We got 13 games to get into. We could make this an entire season-long podcast. The people here for the DFS, we're going to go over both slates for you all. We are going to very quickly go over the Saturday slate. Why? Because it's week 15, and the NFL is going to capitalize on all the college football fans with no college football this Saturday. Because I don't think there's college football. So let's get right into it. The Saturday special is what we're calling it, is what DraftKings is calling it. A $500,000 to first tournament on DraftKings. It is a $20 entry. Let's just talk about this real quick, Charlie, because the 3 games we have on Saturday is Minnesota at Cincinnati. And that's Browning versus Mullins. You have Pittsburgh at Indy.
Yeah, baby.
And Denver at Detroit.
I actually really like this little slate. I think it's fun. Who knows what you're going to get in Minnesota and Cincinnati? JJ sounds like he's going to play.
He's playing.
Yeah. Yeah, according to him, he's playing. So we'll see what the team says,
I don't care if that man has
Saturday,
to wear freaking body armor. Get your butt in gear. I'm kidding.
Oh, no, I need him to
I
play too.
traded for him in Dynasty, which
Mhm.
ended up being I won the trade because it cost me Eckler, Micah Parsons, and a first rounder.
I traded for him
Parsons has done nothing this year. Eckler's flopped recently in an extra first rounder for the best wide receiver in football.
So I in my Superflex league, my home league, which is Superflex, I just traded for him at the trade deadline for
Nice.
someone who lost both starting quarterbacks. This is a 14-team league, Superflex. There are no quarterbacks. Somebody had just dropped Stafford. I used 45 in Fab, picked up
Absolutely.
Stafford. Yeah, but I have Goff and Justin Herbert. I just traded Stafford for JJ coming off of the injury.
There you go.
I just lost Herbert.
I think JJ is going to be awesome, to be honest with you. I think he's absolutely going to crush. But let's get into it. We're going to go, as we always do here, position by position. We're not going to spend long on this Saturday slate. We're going to be there. We're not going to spend that long on the Saturday slate. We're going to focus on the Sunday main slate, 10-game slate on Sunday, 3-game slate on Saturday. Let's just get right into it. No quarterback on this Saturday slate is over 7K. Goff at 65, Russell Wilson at 6K, Browning's 57, Minshew at 55. Trubisky is going to be starting because Pickett is out. He's 53, and Nick Mullins at 5K. If I'm playing any quarterbacks on the Saturday slate, it's Wilson. I'll take shots on Browning and a shot on Mullins. But these quarterbacks leave a lot to be desired here.
Yeah, well,
if you want to play Goff at home in a dome,
I like Goff and Wilson. I like both of their matchups. I love Goff at home.
He's in a dome.
And yeah, and they're the Lions, they need to get right game. Like they need to come out and shut up
You're
the
against
haters.
Denver is the problem.
I know who
that
is just
defense
progressively getting better. I know, right? Hey, you and I, we were talking about this a few weeks ago. They started having some defensive trends that are like nuts, like going from bottom of the league in run defense to a top 12 run defense over the last like 6 weeks or so. I mean, they're still vulnerable, but
they're no longer the run sieve that they were at the start of the season.
Yeah, I like both of the quarterbacks, and at that price, I mean, you might as well coin flip. Wilson's got a little bit better matchup, and Goff is trending down, so Wilson's probably the safer play. But I like either one of them. And then, hey man, I will take a shot on Minshew. I will, because Minshew has two kinds of games. He has 8-point games and like 30-point games, man. It's just, you know what I mean? And so I'll always roll the dice with a quarterback like that on a slate like this.
Mm-hmm. So is there anything else you want to talk about here before we get into, really the meat of this slate, which is the running backs and wide receivers?
I'll say this. If you want to, now I've only done one lineup, so to look at pricing a little bit more, but most likely if you want Amon-Ra and you want Pittman in your wide receiver slots, if you want to take a shot on Nick Mullins to save some money, he's probably going to have JJ back. So, and he's gotten tight end number 1. So, you know what I mean? I wouldn't, I wouldn't hate you for doing that.
All right. Well, part of me just realized we have a brand new Twitch channel, which I didn't realize. So it's now twitch.tv/dads with bacon, not dads with bacon TV anymore. So it's a brand new channel in and of itself. So I'm giving everyone the heads up there. Charlie, since I barely listened to you, you ready to get into this?
Let's do it.
Sorry. As I was trying to find the link to Twitch so people can watch it, I'm like, where the heck? Why are we not live? I didn't realize we changed the URL. Anyway, Jonathan Taylor's out. Alexander Madison is out. Those are two big names.
Yep. I like Madison being out.
Is Ty Chandler chalk for this slate?
He might be. Look, that's one of those things that wouldn't surprise me, right? I mean, doesn't it seem like he should be? It's like, okay, you got this guy. He's going to be really cheap. Everybody's going to throw him in and see what he can do because because here's the thing, he could get 5 catches.
Yeah,
through the course of this.
I'm surprised they're
He's
rookie.
not a bad receiver.
Yeah, so rookie running back Dwayne McBride, who Mel Kiper loved in the draft, fell to the 7th round. So there's not a lot of draft capital there. He's not a 7th round talent as a running back. So, but he is just buried in the depth chart. I don't know if it's a bad rookie campaign or whatever, but it's Ty Chandler, and I believe it's going to be Kiki Nagwanu, who is going to be the backup. I don't think, I mean, like, look, if you're doing a 20 max, right? Maybe take a shot on Nagwanu. Maybe take a shot on him. You know, I don't think Myles Gaskin's going to see the field. I think he's been elevated.
They did, yeah, they did bring him up.
It's a mess outside of Chandler.
What's he done? Chandler's the only one, man, for me.
Just focus on Chandler.
And I think he's gonna get the lion's share, but he's a good pass catching back. So, you know, this could be a thing where there's a lot of like dump offs and just, QB having to go through all of his reads and just coming back to either the tight end or the running back in those situations, which, it could play out a lot like that during the game.
Yep.
So, and that's my thing. That's why I really like him, but that's also why I feel like you're right. He could be chalk.
Mm-hmm.
Because we all know that. So, but if he gets 5 catches for, 45 yards and, rushes for another 30 and gets in the end zone, man, that's for his price. That's good. I'll take that.
Cool, man. Let's talk about the Detroit running backs. We said that Denver is no longer a defensive run sieve. But, I mean, let's face it. This is Gibbs' backfield. We said it all year. It's a matter of time. When Montgomery went down with the injury, look, Gibbs' talent was just too much for Montgomery to overcome. And it's not like Montgomery's been a bad running back this year. He hasn't. Gibbs is just, he surpassed him. Gibbs has surpassed Montgomery. 11 rushing attempts, 4 targets last week. That Chicago game was really weird.
Yeah, that was crazy. There's been some crazy games lately. Man, last night, that one, there was a couple more. Freaking Kansas City.
So here's the thing.
Nuts. This season is nuts.
Montgomery at New Orleans got a lion's share of the carries.
Yeah.
It was a 55-45 split. 11 rushing attempts for Gibbs, 10 for Montgomery last week. 4 targets for Gibbs, 3 targets for Montgomery. So this is a split backfield, but that Chicago game's a little different. This is Denver. You're at home. I think for me, I prefer Gibbs. If you want to play Montgomery, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I like either one of them. I'm with you. I'm going to lean towards Gibbs a little bit. Again, he has seemed to get, even if it's close, he looks to get a couple more of the pass plays over Montgomery. Yep. But then my thing is that with Montgomery, any week you're going to get 2 touchdowns. Yeah. I mean, he just does that. He's a beast in the red zone.
Yep.
Like,
speaking about,
so there's that. So it's like, you could go either way. And honestly, if you wanted to have some fun with it and start both of them, you may be better off than starting them in another combination.
Speaking of emerging beasts, how about Jaylen Warren?
Yeah. But Najee's still there.
Najee is still the guy. Warren has more explosivity.
Yeah.
They do. But he's not doing anything.
See, and I keep wanting to think, well, maybe Najee's really more durable, but Najee's banged up like all the time. It's like
Jalen
so.
Warren has more
I
explosivity.
don't know, man. They know something we don't. There's a reason. There's a reason that they haven't flipped the script with these two guys.
Yeah, because Najee's a bruiser back. Warren's like that explosive, Tony Pollard, change of pace, receiving, has that explosivity. Again, we start with Pollard the last 4 or 5 years. Have a bruiser back like Zeke, and then Pollard can come in and just poof, out goes that explosiveness, and all you need is one play.
I tell you what, man, the two of them have been like a fantasy conundrum. This
Have been.
season. It really has. I have one team, and that I have Najee and him on. That's that team that I mentioned that had a losing record. And like every time, man, just about for how many weeks now, these two guys are priced like right next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Look, here we go again
reason.
this week, right there. It's like, it's just like, man, what do you do? This is one of those where it's like, if you like a guy, if you like one of those guys better than the other guy, that's the guy that you should start. If not, flip a coin or ask your dog about it. I don't know. 2 barks for Najee, 1 bark for the other guy. I don't know.
I'm going with the explosive Jalen Warren. I've also got a little bit of bias. I'm starting him in one of my playoffs in my Superflex with IDP Dynasty League, so I need Warren to have a big day. But still, even if not, I still think Warren has more explosivity than Najee does. Other running backs to consider, Javonte, really tough against the stout Detroit run defense, but if you want a GPP pivot, he's the guy. Chase Brown is fine. We talked about Kiki Nagwanu. That's really it. I'm not playing Zach Moss, and I'm not playing Joe Mixon.
Oh, I am. I will play Joe Mixon because in order for that offense to keep doing what it's doing, they have to keep feeding Joe Mixon the ball. Mm-hmm. And Joe Mixon is a good running back. And good running backs, they get it done. Maybe not as much as they get it done in other games, but they get it done still against run defenses. Let me throw one more thing at you, though, about the Steelers running backs. The Colts are terrible. I love my Colts. They are terrible against the run. And where they are really bad is getting stormed right up the gut. And that bodes better
Najee.
for Najee. I'm going to throw that out there. That's what I know about my guys.
Makes sense.
We've been eating it up the middle all freaking season. Giving away like 125 rushing yards a game.
All right, let's fly through this here because I want to get to the main slate. We're going to go very quickly through wide receivers and tight ends. Jamar Chase is still sub 8K. I'm going to continue to play Jamar Chase as long as he's below 8K. That's a freaking price enforcement. Justin Jefferson, I'm playing. Minnesota Cincinnati probably has one of the better chances to shoot out. And these two wide receivers will be the reason why.
All right, well, since you said it was going to be a shootout, I'm not touching JJ anymore. Because now if we think that we know what's going to happen, they're going to score 6 points this week.
Please don't say that.
No, I'm with you. I really like JJ in this, but I'm all over this week. I'm Amon-Ra St. Brown and Michael Pittman Jr. These two, I know Amon-Ra's had 2 bad games. He's going to bounce back at home. He's the man. These two guys have been 2 of the most reliable fantasy wide receivers in the league this year. They are reliable.
I was 1 year too early on Pittman. I was 1 year too early on Pittman. So right. I love that. I love the calls.
Rookie.
Cortland Sutton, baby. Just lock him in.
Yes,
lock
absolutely.
In Sutton.
He's a good one. Great matchup.
I'm not actually saying hit the lock button, by the way. Don't actually hit the lock button. But I'm going to be overweight on Cortland Sutton this week. Make no mistake about that.
I may not have his counterpart at all, Judy.
I'm going to have 0 Judy. You know who else I'm going to have 0 of? Higgins.
Higgins? All right. I'm going to have 0 of Pickens.
Pickens, yeah. I may have a little bit of Higgins, but I really don't want to have any. Addison, no. Deontay, yes. Josh Downs has not got it going recently.
Yeah.
Whether he's hit the rookie wall, this fake thing, he may just be like, the rookie may just be showing.
I think that his injury may have been a little nagging, or he may be wearing down some. He just didn't look, himself. I thought he looked a little bit better last week, though. So I think it may be coming. I'll take him, as a cheap guy just to fill in if I don't have a whole lot of money. But he's not going to be. He's not like, oh, you got to start this guy. Not this week. We might be saying that in 2 weeks. We'll see.
Well, let's continue to talk about it. Other cheap options I like: Boyd, Reynolds, Pierce. I don't mind taking shots on. Williams, I don't mind taking a shot on. Jamison Williams. I'm not playing Marvin Mims. I don't know why this guy is not getting more involved with the ball. He's a talented young wide receiver, and I don't know why he's not getting more involved. That's it for me on wide receivers. Anything else for you?
No, I think, if you want to win this on Saturday, you got to stay near the top with the wide receivers. That's why we need to maybe go cheapy a little bit on the QB or the tight end.
Well, let's talk about it, because there is a cheap tight end. There's a tight end. All right, flow chart time. Charlie, is Detroit on the slate?
Detroit is on the slate.
Is the team playing Detroit employ a tight end?
Yes, they do.
Then we play said tight end against Detroit. Adam Troutman is $3K with Dulcich on IR. I would much love this spot if it was Dulcich over Troutman. But we saw Troutman, I believe, had a touchdown last week. He does not get targeted a lot. I'll take 10 points out of him this week. It's against Detroit. He's cheap. The problem is the tight ends you want to play, Laporta and Hawkinson, are very expensive for this slate when we do not have a lot of value.
Yeah, they're priced up. And you know what? DraftKings was smart with this because I think they've got it right. I think that you're looking at tight end 1 and tight end 2 on the slate on Saturday right there. I think they're priced accordingly. So you'd have to really pivot in other places if you want to get them in. I like Hudson.
I do too.
3,200. I'm going to have him all over the place.
He's probably my favorite tight end on the slate.
Hey,
when you include Price,
he's becoming a part of that offense.
Yep,
he really is.
Talented young tight end. Obviously, if I have the money, I'd love to get Laporta or Hawkinson in stacks or as run backs or whatever. Would just have him in general. But again, it's very difficult to get up there. So Hudson's probably going to be chalk. Troutman maybe to get different, but that's it. Is there anything else you want to talk about with this slate before we get to the main slate?
I will say this now: if it comes down to it at 5,800, I might throw Hawk in at my flex if I've got that at that point.
Absolutely. Now let's get into defenses real quick. It's a defense. Play a defense.
Play the Colts defense this week. They're going to
$3,500. Yeah, I can see.
They're going to have 7
sacks against Pittsburgh.
They're going to tear it up. That defense, they're a fantasy beast. Everybody's starting to get onto it.
I also don't hate the Vikings defense for what it's worth. Broncos,
neither do the offenses that play them.
Yeah, I know. It's a very
I
weird
think it's a fun slate. I love this. I love this slate, man. I'm going to get off of work. I'm going to get home. I'll listen to the first quarter of the Colts game on the way home, and then I'm going to sit home, watch the Colts, and then watch the Lions. It's going to be great.
There you go. Well, let's get into the main slate.
Yeah, baby.
Sunday, 10-game slate. Interesting games on this slate. Dallas and Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 1:00 game, I believe, yes?
Yes, it is. No, it's not. So this is
a 4.
It is a 4:00 game. And you know what? That bodes well for Dallas because now Dallas is going to be playing at the time that they are used to be playing, and Buffalo is not.
I think Buffalo shows out this game. But here's the problem. Allen is 82 and Prescott's 8K. That's really tough. I see someone else on here that I like in the 6K range. 2 quarterbacks I like in the 6K range.
Yep.
And then I doubt people are going to go this way, but CJ Stroud is doubtful. He's not going to play. He has not cleared concussion protocol, and he's not practiced all week.
So
he's most likely not going to play. It's Davis Mills.
He's listed as doubtful, but I think they actually came out earlier today and said he wasn't playing. I think they said him and somebody else because
Nico Collins is not playing.
Yeah, and Collins, they're both not going to play, but they're not sure who they're going to start at quarterback.
Well, see, here's the thing: no Nico Collins, no Tank Dell. That means it's
Noah Brown,
Bobby Trees, and Xavier Hutchinson / John Mechie.
It's Noah Brown.
We'll get
all
there.
Day long. Yeah,
7K. I mean, if you have the money, I'm playing Dak on the road because with the way James Cook is, I think Cook could have his way with this defense. But I also am not gonna. They're both gonna most likely be in my player pool. I'm not forcing either. I prefer Prescott to Allen.
I'll take Dak over Allen. I view this game a little differently, I think, than you do, because I think Dallas is about to come in there and hand it to him. I do. I think the Cowboys are going to show out this week.
If Dallas hands it to Buffalo, then McDermott can consider himself on the hot seat, in my opinion.
That's a decent call. But I like Prescott out of the other two, but
I don't want to watch
While Charlie goes and deals with the stuff at his local, go ahead, Charlie.
Have a seat, buddy.
He okay?
Yeah, he's good. You good, buddy? You sit right here and watch Daddy, okay? Right?
Every time I watch it.
I know, you don't want to watch it. You can go watch something on Daddy's TV, okay? Go find a remote. All right? I love you. Okay. Stop crying, though, buddy. It's okay. He doesn't want to watch The Grinch because every time we watch The Grinch. Hey, buddy. It's okay. Go sit over there in front of the bed, buddy, and watch some TV. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, you're fine. There's a reason this stuff's called Dads with Bacon, by the
way. Yeah, I like these 6K guys better.
Yep.
In particular, 6K.
Well, let's get into the 7K range, which I think is actually rather interesting this week. And I think for the first time this season, we see Mahomes out of the 8K range. On the road at New England, I think is really difficult. Tua at home versus that stout Jets defense. I'm not playing either. Again, Stroud is going to be most likely out. Fields at Cleveland, no. I think the 7K range, I'm just Xing out of my player pool. There's no one here that's in a good matchup we can exploit. For me, it would be Tua if you really wanted to get crazy.
Yeah, and even with Tua, if Hill's not in, I'm not. Definitely not.
Agreed.
I'm with you. I think you kind of, Fields, man, Cleveland's defense is just so good. But, I mean, it's the freaking Bears. Like, you just don't know what you're going to get now. It's like, I can't figure that team out, man. So, like, you never know. If you got 7K to spend on the QB and you want to, roll the dice with them, a lot of people may not. So it might be a good way to beat the public. But I'm with you. I think, after you get past, Allen and Prescott, you jump down about 5 names or so, and you see all these juicy matchups and these good quarterbacks that have consistently performed this season, or some that are really hot right now. And it's like, why spend the money if you can save $1,000?
Yep.
And probably get more points.
Look, here's the deal for me. The 6K range is where I want to be this week. Like, I see a couple of guys that I really like this week. Brock Purdy at 68. Sam Howell at 63. Jordan Love at 62. Stafford at 6K.
That's the one.
I mean, these are fantastic spots. Like, in the 5K range,
Stafford's got a smash spot.
Flacco and Levis in the 5K range, I think are really good. I know I know it's 2023, and I want to play Joe Flacco in DFS.
Right, 2023. How are we even talking about Joe Flacco?
I'm starting Joe Flacco in a dynasty league this week as my Superflex quarterback.
No, hey, look, I had to. It wasn't much. I told you, man. I lost Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert was the quarterback in my main plan in season long. There was a league where that was it. It was all there was. So yeah, I'm going to the playoffs with Joe Flacco. All right.
2023.
Right.
We're talking about
Let's
Joe
go,
Flacco in
footsteps.
fantasy football.
Let's go.
I think Sam Howell was probably my favorite quarterback on the week.
Yeah, I love this game. For fantasy, I love this game.
Yep.
And Robinson Jr. is out. They ruled him out earlier today.
Yep.
So
and that's fine.
that's a little bit more.
Can we just also talk about this for a second?
Well, let me say, so with him out, Howell, he likes to run it into the end zone. And he's pretty good at it. And he's fun to watch doing it. So there may be a couple more red zone opportunities on foot for Howell with Robinson out. So that's one thing that I really like about him this week.
Howell's playing for a job. Purdy, Murray, Howell, Stafford. 4 quarterbacks, 4 stacks, late window. Late game hammers. Dallas, Buffalo, who I want exposure to. This is like 3 weeks in a row now where these late games could prove to be pivotal. But there are other games I want to take advantage of, and let's just get this out of the way with. Those expensive guys are going to be well worth it. I'm probably going to be in the 6K range for quarterbacks. I'm going to have Flacco and Levis in my player pool. But those late games have some amazing stack potential. Amazing stack potential. San Francisco, Arizona, if you want to take shots on it. Washington, the Rams. Washington and the Rams could have more of a score than Dallas, Buffalo.
It could. It really could. It could be a great game for fantasy, a great game for DFS. There's a lot of guys in that you can use. I like Flacco down there. I don't think I'm going to really roll the dice on Levis this week. With the way that Houston's offense is, I feel like this is probably more of a
Derrick Henry
week than it is a throw the ball with our rookie quarterback kind of a week. So, if I'm going that route, I'm definitely taking the extra $100 and putting it on Flacco.
Fair enough. Speaking of running backs, is there anything else I want to talk about with quarterback before we get to the running backs?
No, let's get to the king.
All right, well, let's get to it. Happy December! And for those of you that are new to fantasy football, welcome to Derrick Henry in December, where he just goes absolutely nuts. Here's the thing. Derrick Henry is 6,900. I'm going to have a lot of Derrick Henry. However, let's not forget about Tajay Spears, who's been involved. If Tajay Spears is on your waiver wire in season long and you're in the playoffs, go get him and stash him.
If Tajay Spears is still on the waiver wire in your league, you should quit the league and go and get into a competitive league because that one's
I've had Spears everywhere.
I've had Spears
all year in every league that I can.
Telling people pick up Spears, stash him.
I always tell people in preseason go do it. I always tell people in preseason go stash him.
Oh yeah, he was one of my in Dynasty. That was one of my rookie picks.
Yep, I couldn't get him in Dynasty. Too many other people liked him too much.
I had him in a lot, second and third rounds actually. Okay. So the king is a huge play.
Derrick Henry.
Henry is a huge play this week. The guy is pretty much matchup proof.
Yes.
And he don't like Houston. So he's going to come. He's going to show out. Spears will be a little bit involved, but it's going to be his show until he's like, all right, I've done enough. And then they'll start, throwing Spears some more. And his price is right this week.
Yep.
I like it.
Let's talk about the other guy who should have an absolutely just outstanding, amazing day. Christian McCaffrey. What else needs to be said at this point? Just play him. Just play him.
Yeah, you could have done better last week, but this week he's a great play.
Yeah, just play Christian McCaffrey.
He's a great play. I like Williams too.
I love Kyron Williams this week.
I love having both of them on my Dad's with Bacon Fantasy League roster.
Mm-hmm. I love having Williams on my Dad's with Bacon Charity League roster.
I dig it. I like it. They're both top. Really good plays, really good matchups.
You know what's really weird?
9,300 though.
Rachaad White is 7K. He's more than Derrick Henry. But you know what Rachaad White has done?
Everything.
Double-digit fantasy points on DraftKings in 11 to 14 weeks so far. Or 10 of 13.
I love this guy.
They already had the bye week. Rachaad White's here. He's here to stay. He's versing Green Bay.
So here's an interesting little tidbit. When this season started, the first few games, White was averaging his yards per carry was like 2.2. He has done so well that he has almost doubled that for the average. And if you know about averages and numbers and stuff, it takes a lot to move that. So he has really come along, and it is his offense.
He's done so well that they released Keyshawn. The Bucs released Keyshawn Vaughn today.
Nope.
This is his
offense.
I just find it funny. He's more expensive than Derrick Henry, but
that's where we're at in the season, man. That's where we're at in the season. That guy, that's a league winner. That's what that
Rachaad White? Yeah.
Yeah. In season long, he was my most drafted player. And that was because you can get him between like round 7 and 9. Which I don't understand why, because we all knew he was.
I didn't understand it either.
He's the workhorse. He is a true workhorse. They have no other running backs.
He was high in my rankings.
All. Yep, mine too. He does it all, and he's going to do it all this week.
Speaking about players that were high in our rankings,
I'm sad about
Sean Robinson.
He was high in everybody.
Guess who Bijan's playing this week?
Oh, yeah.
He's playing Carolina.
Carolina. They're not good.
I might just lock button Henry and Bijan.
They're not good. And shame on their owner for firing all them coaches. That's not how you do it. Man, yeah, he's got a really good matchup. And I think, the Falcons, they're leaning on him more now. He's the guy. He's the guy.
No, they should have been doing that all year.
Right? And he only had 10 carries last week.
7 targets.
Yeah. Yep. That's his most targets of the week. Yeah, he's in a good spot. And he's priced pretty good this week, too. So that's always fun.
James Cook at 63. I'm probably not getting there, but I think he's interesting. If you want exposure to that. Last week was in a tough matchup. He was at Kansas City. Kansas City's had a good run defense this season. Put up 25.1 DK points on him.
Yeah, Kansas City's defense really hasn't been bad.
Philly is a great run defense. 16 points on him. The Jets, 19.2. Denver, 16.
Oh.
James Cook could be a difference maker. But I don't know if I'm going to get there just pricing-wise with Henry and Robinson and Rachaad White being there. Those are probably my main 3 running backs. Kyron at the 4. If I could get to McCaffrey, great. But, you're looking at that. You've got Zeke here, Connor, Tuber.
I like Zeke.
I think
Zeke's a pretty well-rested workhorse.
Yep. I like Zeke and a Patriots defense run back. Patriots defense at 2,300, and I'm probably going to have way too much.
Yeah, I've been using, the Patriots defense has not been terrible this season, and they have been so low priced all season that I've found myself using them a lot, which I mean, makes me a little sick to my stomach every Sunday, just about, because I've lived my life with the rule of never draft a Patriot, but still, their price is right and they're producing
Mhm.
for what their cost is. So I like them on defense, and let's be real, it's defense and DFS, so it's like
Yeah.
it's not like you're playing in season long where you got some points for defenses put up 20, 30 points. You
Yeah.
know, special teams, all that jazz.
I think some interesting running backs this week under that are Ford, Singletary, Gibson, and McKinnon. I think this is a really weird range. Ford's my favorite of all of them. I don't love any of them, but those would be the ones I like here. What are your thoughts on the 5K running back range?
So I like Gibson just because he's going to get more work because he's going to be the feature back and he catches passes. That's kind of his forte. So I think that with the injuries in place this week, he probably has the most upside out of those guys. Uh, I, Clyde Edwards, Clyde Edwards
Clyde?
Hilaire. I might take a shot on him because Pacheco got ruled out earlier today. He's out.
Yep.
So, there's a way to maybe save a little bit of cash. He's only 5K, but I think those guys, in the 6K range are going to do a lot better for you. But
Agreed.
I like Gibson's upside.
Yeah, I agree with that. Really interesting with your Sam Howell stacks.
Yeah. Hey, look, if you wanted to stack him, Dotson, and Howell, I don't think that's a bad way to go.
Not at all. Let's talk about it, though. You ready?
Yeah, let's do this.
Wide receivers, unless there's anything else you want to talk about with running back.
No, I think we're good on running backs, and I have a very exciting fun fact that I can't wait to share about Waddle. So let's get to
Excellent.
our receivers.
Tyreek Hill is 9.9K. He's questionable.
Yeah.
So ankle injury last week, came back to the game. He's questionable. Don't know if he's going to be in the lineup this week. If he's off the injury report on Sunday, as in he's not going to be limited by the ankle injury, still tough to play him. I mean, he's matchup proof, even though he's going to go against Sauce. If he's hobbled at all, I think Sauce can catch up on speed.
Yeah, but Sauce don't move. He doesn't travel. They typically, this is, so the Jets defense is a really good matchup for Miami wide receivers in a couple of different ways. Tyreek Hill right now, they're saying, is going to be a legit game time decision. Now, of course, if the team talks to his wife, he is definitely playing, apparently. But if they move Hill around a little bit, Sauce usually typically stays on his side of the field. And the guy is, where are we at? 498, 468 yards away from a 2,000-yard season. The guy has been very adamant that this is his goal. He's now got 4 games left to get that. So he's got to get 125 yards a game. The man's stubborn and he's got an ego. So if he's out there, he's going to be out there to play. So if he's out there and I've got the money, I will start him. If he's not playing, Waddle is better against cover 4 defense than he is any other defense. And he also put 99 yards up against the Jets the last time that they played. For that specific reason, it is his wheelhouse. And I have him in almost every single lineup.
I like the call.
Hill is out.
I think I'm going to be safe and avoid Tyreek Hill this week. Again, the ankle injury. Again, if you saw it last week, he was out for a little bit. He did everything he could to get back after halftime. I think he had a taped up ankle. He did everything he could to come back. And kudos to him. If he's hobbled at all, I don't want to. He's almost 10K. I need a healthy Tyreek Hill that I feel confident in to play him at almost 10K. CeeDee Lamb at 9,200, he's gotten to a point where he has to pay off. And I think CeeDee Lamb pays off more than Stephon Diggs. but I think the ultimate GPP double stack is Allen Diggs. Period. Those two
I think
nuke.
Diggs
I will not be surprised.
Yeah. Diggs, I can see going off. My thing is that I honestly think that Diggs might be the only player on the Buffalo Bills this week that goes off. That's just me. It's just a feeling that I have about this game. If anybody does, it'll be Diggs and Cooks. But I think that Diggs has the potential here to have a pretty good game. He's got a decent match up as far as who he will be facing. And then he also is kind of he's got a little bit of he's got a pride issue. He does, and there's some talk because he ain't been as great lately. So he is itching to have a huge game.
Diggs, absolutely. Let's talk about some of these other 7K wide receivers: Cooper Kupp, Deebo Samuel, Evans, Waddle, Puka, and Ayuk. Olave is questionable. Nico Collins is out.
I'll tell you
Waddle,
what.
I really like. Mike Evans just continues to get it done. I don't think I look. He burned me last week. I had like 70% Mike Evans last week. He burned me last week. They're on the road at Green Bay. I'm just playing Rachaad White. What do you think about Mike Evans this week?
Yeah, so I am actually probably not gonna have any wide receivers from Tampa Bay in this week. When I'm looking at this, what I'm going to do on Sunday is I'm going to take my cup and fill it up with fantasy points because I'm going to have cup, and then I'm going to waddle on over to the couch, sit down, and watch myself make some money. Because those are the two guys, I think, especially if Hill doesn't play. They have very, very good matchups. They are hot right now. Cup is getting back into form. That offense is on fire. Evans, the Green Bay matchup for wide receivers is not that great. I like White all day long in that one, but him and Godwin, is Godwin even going to play? I'm probably not touching either one of those guys. As it's been all season, I'll roll the dice with Puka Nacua as well. I like Cup better in this matchup than Puka, though.
Welcome to Dads of Bacon, where there are dad jokes, folks. I had to facepalm when you went from Cup to Waddle. I think you're right. I think this is probably more. I mean, I don't know. Deebo's been on fire. I have to say, like, Deebo does great against zone. Ayuk destroys man coverage. I got to dig into it, but I'd probably lean Deebo. I like Waddle. I like Puka. Kupp is okay. I don't mind playing him. Let's get to some of these other wide receivers. I want to keep this to about an hour.
I will play Rashee Rice every single freaking week at this point.
At least 6,100.
He's the only guy they've got to throw at. He's the only guy now. Their tight end is busy trying to throw passes and date superstars. He's kind of forgotten how to run because every safety in the league can catch up to him now. Cool.
Yeah, Rashee Rice is a great player this week.
Yeah.
I also like Hopkins at home versus Houston. I like that matchup. DJ Moore is listed as questionable. Even if he plays, I can't play him against Cleveland, even though Grant Delpit is on IR, I think. Cooper against Chicago. Flacco Cooper stacks. I can't believe I just said that.
I mean,
I think Flacco Cooper stacks are viable. I can't believe I just said that.
I feel like they were viable 7 years ago.
It's 2023, and this is what we're talking about. We're not talking about Deshaun Watson and Amari Cooper. We're talking about Joe Flacco and Amari Cooper.
Oh man, no, it's not a bad stack. I mean, I'm in on Flacco.
I'm sorry,
I don't know about Cooper. They're at Cleveland. He tends to do better in a home environment. He hasn't been that great lately, though. He's been a little banged up.
Excuse me.
And when I look under there, I mean, I might I mean, I'd probably dip down into the 5Ks and maybe take Wilson over Cooper. But D-Hop probably going to have his chance to get a couple of shots downfield in early goings of that game. So I think that there's a good chance for some. I think he might have a high ceiling, but I don't know. His floor might not be the greatest this week. Why are you pulling up, Terry? My fantasy point season is scary bad. McLaurin.
McLaurin week.
You think so?
Yep.
I don't.
McLaurin week. We take a look with Jahan Dotson. Well, Dotson's the better wide receiver.
He is. He's more talented. But
Dotson just doesn't get the targets as much as McLaurin does. You take a look at the targets that McLaurin was getting before. 7 targets, 8 targets, 7 targets, 11 targets. Against the Rams, it's not exactly the scariest matchup in the world.
No, it's not a bad matchup. The game is going to be
It's not a good matchup. You know, it's middle of the road. But I like Howell, McLaurin. I think Dotson's really interesting. Sneakily,
I like Dotson.
Samuel is interesting.
Yes. I'll take Samuel and Dotson over McLaurin this week. I kind of want to see it from McLaurin because I like McLaurin. I like Scary Terry. I really do. I think he's a good football player.
I agree.
Something's going on with him, man. Something's going on with him. I just kind of want to see it. I want to see him bounce back first.
It's called the quarterbacks he's played with in his career.
Yeah, but this season, I mean, he's got a quarterback that can throw to every wide receiver on the team. I mean,
he was doing well early in the season too.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's like something the last 4 or 5 games, it just hadn't been right. Mm-hmm. I'm almost wondering, because did he have, what was it, turf toe or a Liz Frank fracture or something at the beginning of the season or in preseason? Yeah, I almost wonder if maybe he's got, maybe a little something going on, a little bout of that coming back or something.
No idea. But before we get into any other plays, Charlie, we got to see your shirt. You wore this last week. We couldn't do the shirt last week. Say it. Say the line. Say the line.
No, I find your lack of cheer
disturbing. I find your lack of cheer disturbing.
That is right.
Fantastic.
I love it. I love it. Next week I will have the Colts Santa hat.
I like it.
I'll be celebrating. I'm going to see the Colts next weekend.
Let's go.
Yeah. Take him a boy. It'll be good.
Jaden Reed at 4,900 is part of my language. He's a freaking phenomenal play. I love Jaden Reed this week. Christian Watson.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on him for a while now. Like, this kid at this point, you could throw him in any week just about that you want, because he's probably gonna get a touchdown.
So here's the thing.
His price just keeps staying low.
Jordan Love, Romeo Dobbs, Jaden Reed, Rashad White, run back. You can afford lots of everything. Just saying.
I'd probably switch out Dobbs for Samuel in that little
and that's fine.
There, and then really afford some stuff. I like that a little bit better. But yeah, I like this. I Reed, man. Love's not a bad quarterback this week, so
keep an eye on injuries.
Not a bad
idea. Cooks and both Marquise Brown and Noah Brown all listed as questionable. I have not seen the injuries. So I don't know about anything about him. We talked about Noah Brown. He's the wide receiver 1 right now by default with no Nico Collins and no Tank Dell this week. It's Noah Brown, Bobby Trees, and then, like I said, it's one of Xavier Hutchinson or John Mechie. If Noah Brown plays, I'm taking shots on Noah Brown. Brandon Cooks is going to be probably the cheap Dallas wide receiver that might get some ownership against Buffalo. I think he's fine. And Marquise Brown and your San Francisco run backs, if he plays, I think is also fine. But keep an eye on these injury tags. I want to fly through this year.
They're saying Cooks and Brown are both slated to play.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Which Brown? Marquise or Noah Brown?
Noah.
Okay.
Marquise, I haven't heard much on. Noah, I'm hearing that he's probable to play, as well as Cooks, I think, is going to play.
Excellent. Let's get into it.
Just a formality. think he is playing.
Yep. If you want to play Elijah Moore, go for it. If Olave, for whatever reason, is out, play Rashid Shaheed against the Giants.
Very
I
good
think
play.
I think you can play Rashid Shaheed regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Mario Douglas for the Patriots has cleared concussion protocol. He's a fine play. Jonathan Mingo has seen a massive volume increase in targets. 7 targets, 6 targets, 6 targets, 10 targets, 9 targets. He's done nothing with them. Last week was New Orleans. This week is Atlanta. If you want to take shots on him, he's cheap. He's 3,900. Khalil Shakir against Dallas, I think, is interesting.
Perry, if Olave doesn't play.
A.T. Perry, only if Olave doesn't play, right? And that's really it for me. Is there anything else on wide receivers before we get into tight ends, and then we'll get into our picks and get out of here?
No, man. I think really, man, that about covers it. You know,
Sweet.
You're gonna want to get some of those top tier guys in there this week.
Excuse me, I'm tired.
Tight ends.
Kelsey on the road at New England is 7,600. I'm not playing.
Nope, not doing it.
George Kittle at Arizona at 5,800. Again, just mix and match for me with your Purdy stacks. Taysom Hill is 5,500. Nope.
Yeah, I'm not doing that one either.
Nope.
I'm saving money on tight end all day long, all over the place this week. All over the place.
Yep.
I like these guys.
So Baltimore's not on the slate. If it was, I would say Isaiah Likely is a phenomenal play. Trey McBride, I think, makes a very interesting run back for your San Francisco stacks or Arizona in total. This dude has finally broken out a year and a half into his professional career. Typically, with an NFL tight end, it takes about 3 years for them to be fantasy relevant. Trey McBride has broken out. This was the second-round pick of the Cardinals last year. The best tight end in the class last season, coming out in the draft. He's finally broken out. He's being utilized. He's 5,200. If you want to take shots on him, I don't mind that. Kincaid, same thing, 5,300. Probably my favorite plays in that range. Darren Waller's on IR. He might be back for this game. We'll know tomorrow when they have to do their injury designation. If he's not removed officially off IR, he's not playing. We will know by Saturday. Logan Thomas, your Washington stacks. Tyler Higbee's going to play. Cade Otton continues to go under the radar at 3,200. You know, he's seen some targets. Brevin Jordan is 3,100. I'm not playing him with Schultz back. Chigakonkwo is 2.9K. I think is an interesting tight end play this week. He's getting the targets. He hasn't got the touchdowns. 2.9K. He gets a touchdown against Houston. He smashes. What are you thinking here about tight ends, Charlie?
So, okay. I really like Tyler Kraft this week.
Yep.
He has got, so Tyler Kraft has the highest
Tucker Kraft,
snap, pretty much, of any tight end in the board last week. He ran more routes and was in on more snaps than any of these other guys. Like he's the only thing they've got right there at tight end right now because of injury and whatnot. He's getting his opportunities. He's cheap. I like him. I like Njoku. Njoku and Flacco seem to have a good thing going. I've leaned on Njoku a few times, and it has worked out for me. He's a little bit higher priced, but he's still under 5K. Otton, I like Otton's matchup. I think is a little bit more favorable than the Tampa Bay wide receivers is. So I like him. I think he's got the potential to get a pretty good target share this week. Whether he makes something out of it or not, we'll see. But at 3,200, I would roll the dice on that.
Yep.
Thomas is dead to me. He's burned me too many times this season, so I'm not going to touch him. And I'm no longer going to talk about him for fantasy purposes any longer. Because, no.
Whatever.
No,
he
dude.
is redacted, huh?
Look at all those ones and twos and threes. Yeah, ones and twos and threes. He got me all hyped up. I thought this was going to finally be the season where he blows up.
Nope.
But no. No.
All right. Should we get into our picks so we can get out of here?
Let's do it.
An hour this week. They're actually able to keep us on a time limit that I think we actually been wanting to do the entire bleeping season.
Yeah, we're getting better.
We're getting better. All right. If you're new, first of all, welcome. Second of all, we go over, this is our pick'em segment. We each give 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and a defense that we like this week. Charlie, 2 quarterbacks. Who you like?
I'm definitely going with Matthew Stafford. Go Dogs. And I really also like Dak Prescott.
Excellent. For me, it's Purdy and Howell. I'll give you a bonus pick, Jordan Love.
Yep. I'm with
running
you on
back.
that. Oh, yeah.
How about running backs not named Derrick Henry and Bijan Robinson?
Okay. I this week, I'm all over Williams. Think he's going to have another big game. I really, really like him. Yep. And I'm going Rachaad White because that guy's all faithful.
Taking my running backs. I like Kyron. I like White.
Yeah, you have White. I'll pick another one.
No,
There's
you're
a couple
fine.
more that I like.
I have others.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Christian McCaffrey. And I'm going James Cook.
Okay.
Wide receivers. You got.
All right, so I'm sticking with. I really like the Williams Cup stack if you can make it work. I think those guys are going to both be really, really key points. And then we talked about Waddle way too much already, so I am going to go with Cup. And if you'll scroll down there, let me look at the price real quick. And I am probably going to go with Rashee Rice.
Excellent.
Yep.
For me, it's Jaden Reed. And Charlie's already given you Lamb. I'm going to give you Stephon Diggs. Diggs is going to have to get it done this week. If Diggs blows up, Josh Allen blows up, and this game blows up.
I think this has got to be the week that Diggs has a big game.
Yep. 1 tight end each that we like.
I already married her. I'm on a roll tonight, man. I got full of that holiday spirit.
Hopefully everyone else heard that face palm all the way from where you were to the microphone.
I'm pretty sure my kid back there heard it.
Tight end, what does that mean?
He's sitting back. No, man, I had to put him on the TV back there, man.
I'm kidding. What's up? Where are we going for tight end?
Tyler Kraft. Kraft you up some fantasy points.
There you go. Tucker Kraft. I'm going with Trey McBride and Chigakonkwo as a bonus. Just he's cheap. Favorite defense this week? I already know mine. Who you got?
My favorite defense is playing on Saturday this week. On Sunday, I really like the Saints because they're really good defense, especially for fantasy. But with their price, man,
it's very tough.
I'll probably roll with the Patriots.
Patriots is my pick.
It's unanimous.
There you go.
It's the Pats. Probably the only Pats you want on your team.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and watching this week. We'll be back next week for Week 16. We're almost to the end of the regular season here, Charlie. I can't believe it's already December. We're through a lot of football.
Christmas.
I know.
Like, man.
We will be back for the Christmas slate. We will be back for the Christmas slate next Friday.
Oh,
Charlie,
yeah.
Thank you for joining me as always. And for everyone out there, thank you. Have a happy, merry, and safe holiday season. Latest, peoples.